And we back. Now today's video we're playing start, bench, cut. I told people on Twitter to give me 3 NBA players that are basically similar in level, and I have to start one, I have to bench one, and in my eyes, when I say bench, I mean like he's my 6th man, and then I have to cut one. You're completely out of here, and it's gonna be hard. Because again, they're 3 players of similar levels, so we got 3 superstars for the very first one. One of them has to go. So I gotta say these are all my opinions. I'll try to give you reasoning, and you're probably not gonna agree with everything I say in this video, which is completely fine, baby. The game of sports, or any sport in general, disagreements are going to happen. I'm gonna try to give you my reasons. You give me your reason in the comment section below. You disagree, don't dislike. Like the video, even if you disagree. I also realized that about 40% of the people that end up watching my videos aren't subscribed. So if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, baby. We do stuff like this all the time. We play 2K. We just talk hoops in general. Something we all love, right? Let's get to the first one. It's coming from Cooper, who always finds his way in these videos somehow. Jokic, Anthony Towns, and Joel Embiid. I screenshotted this like 10 minutes ago, and I still have not made up my mind who I want to start, bench, or cut. You know, because all of these guys are great in their own single way. But I was listening to a podcast recently, and I forget which podcast it is because I'm listening to a lot of podcasts. And somebody had a very, very good point. Made me think about things a little bit differently. How long until we start looking at Cat the same way we used to look at Boogie? Do y'all remember Boogie was in Sacramento? We saw him as a good stats, bad team dude. He never made the playoffs in Sacramento, but you knew that Boogie was giving you 20 plus a night. How long until we start to look at Anthony Towns as not a winning player? Because currently, they're on the longest losing streak in the NBA. Now, I understand he's missed like the last 2 or 3, but you get what I'm saying? Anthony Towns is a great, great NBA player. But does he transition to wins? I don't know just yet. I mean, it's still early in this NBA career, so anything can happen. All that being said, I still don't know the answer to this question, man. I guess I'm starting Embiid because out of these 3 guys, I know 100% he's the best defensively, and his offensive game is there too. I guess I'm benching Jokic to make him my 6th man, and I guess I'm cutting Anthony Towns, which doesn't feel right because offensively, I think Anthony Towns is the most skilled out of all these guys. His 3-point shot is ridiculous compared to any NBA player, but especially when you compare him to his centers in the league. So it doesn't feel right to cut Anthony Towns, but I know that Joel Embiid can help me win games and make the playoffs. I know Jokic can too, and then one year Anthony Towns made it, they were the 8th seed, and Jimmy Butler basically put his backpack on for a lot of it, right? It's a tough one, Cooper. You definitely stumped me. And by the time this video's ended, I may have changed my mind. That's how hard it is. Cameron says Westbrook, Kemba Walker, and Kyrie Irving. Hey, I'm leaving it all on the table, baby. I'm giving all of my opinions here, right? I am starting Kemba Walker. I am benching Russell Westbrook, and I am cutting Kyrie Irving. I know it's tough. Kyrie Irving made one of the biggest shots in NBA history. He's got his ring. These other 2 guys don't. These other 2 guys, Russell Westbrook was, I guess, a couple games away from it when he was super young. And Kemba Walker ain't even really been out of the 2nd round of the playoffs. But if I'm basing it on this year, or I guess we can look at everything. Is there a coincidence that every time Kyrie has left, it's got better? Right? He got injured that one year, and the Boston Celtics got all the way to the conference finals. This year, they switched him and Kemba Walker, and they just look so much better. And then he was playing with the Brooklyn Nets. They were looking pretty average. And he gets injured, and the team looks so much better. Like, that can't be a coincidence, right? It happened too many times to be a coincidence. I know individually, Kyrie Irving is one of the best one-on-one basketball players I have ever seen with my eyes. But can I trust him to be a number 1 option on a good team? I don't know if I can. My boy Mr. Hall, Hall, I'm not trying to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher your name, brother. Thank you for contributing. He said Marcus Smart, Tony Allen, Andre Iguodala. These are 3 great defenders of like my time. We're cutting Tony Allen. It's not even close. We are cutting Tony Allen because these other 2 guys can contribute on the offensive side of the ball. There's a specific playoff series that everybody brings up when you talk about Tony Allen's offense. They were going against the Golden State Warriors. He was so bad offensively that they put Andrew Bogut to guard him. Remember, Andrew Bogut is a 7-foot center. No lateral quickness. But Tony Allen couldn't do anything against him. And because of that, the Warriors went on to win that series because defensively, they just started to pack things in because you didn't have to guard Tony Allen anywhere unless he was driving to the hoop. Now, the start and benching part is a little bit tougher. We're talking long term, I guess Iggy, but if we're talking right now, I'm going Marcus Smart with the start because again, we ain't seen Iggy at all this year. But Iggy has done it all in the finals. He's been an all-star once back in 2012. So if we're going long term, I'm starting Iggy, benching Marcus Smart, and I'm cutting Tony Allen. Isaac says Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, and CJ McCollum. Again, these are all three guys that are very similar in their realm of where they rank in the NBA. So this is a bit tough, right? Because early in the season, I would have 100% had Devin Booker starting. But since his team has started to lose, and again, I know he missed some time too, you start to see things a little bit differently, right? Donovan Mitchell, and you can blame this on the situation, whatever, but Donovan Mitchell has been in the league for, this is his third NBA season, and he's going to his third straight playoffs most likely. Like, something drastic would have to happen for the Utah Jazz not to make the playoffs, right? But I think I'm still starting Devin Booker. I'm benching Donovan Mitchell, and I have to cut CJ. I have to cut CJ, and it feels irrational because CJ has been in the playoffs a lot in his NBA career as well. He had the great Game 7 against the Nuggets that was last year. But those other two guys have also hit another level this year. Right? I think both of those two guys will end up being all-stars in the Western Conference this year. CJ will always be a guy that maybe gets some votes, but not more than these other two. Lewis, we're gonna call you Lewis, says Siakam, Butler, and Chris Middleton. This was pretty straightforward if you ask me. I am starting Jimmy Butler. I am benching Pascal Siakam just because though Pascal Siakam is having a great season, do not get me wrong, I know that Jimmy's good enough to lead my team long term. We still haven't seen that with Pascal Siakam, and he has a long career to end up showing all of that. And then we're cutting Chris Middleton. Y'all know I'm a Chris Middleton fan just because I know that he's gonna give it his all defensively, and his offensive game can be here or there. But this year, his like field goal percentages, 3-point percentages, he's been amazing. But those other two guys are on another level, if you ask me. Raymond comes out with the heater. This is the one I wanted to open the video out with. It is LeBron, Kawhi, and Giannis. LeBron, Kawhi, and Giannis. If we're going strictly on this season, I am starting Giannis, I am benching LeBron, and I'm cutting Kawhi Leonard. Right? But if we're going their whole career, you gotta start LeBron. He's done too much. In this point in the NBA, I believe that Giannis is the best player in the league. I don't think that's crazy to say. He was MVP last year, and it looks like he's going to win MVP again this year. I don't think it's crazy to say he is the best player in the league right now. But LeBron, out of these three, has been the most successful individually. Kawhi has been... I was going to say Kawhi has been the most successful when it comes to his team success, but LeBron still has 3 rings. I mean, it took him a lot longer to do that than probably Kawhi is going to end up taking. If we're going this season, I am going Giannis starting, LeBron is benched, and then Kawhi is cut. It's crazy to think LeBron is the 17th year in this NBA, and he's still like the second, third best player in the entire league. Seabass, we screenshotted this one because 52 people wanted to see me talk about Taco Fall, Isaac Bonga, and Oscar Russo. We're talking about these dudes have irrational fan bases. Yeah. And you can't cut any of them, because if you do, you get like bad luck. We started Taco, I'll tell you that much, because he's a fan of the show. I met Taco Fall in Vegas, and he was on my podcast. We asked him straight to his face, Taco, what is your favorite podcast ever? He said this one. The perfect answer. So because of that, Taco is a homie for life. I will put Taco over every single player in NBA history because he told me to my face he enjoys my podcast over all the thousands of podcasts out there. Was he just talking to us to make us feel good? Probably. But he said it, and that's good enough for me. We're bitching Alex Caruso, and we're cutting Isaac Bonga. Isaac Bonga, actually, out of these 3 dudes, he's the one that's actually starting NBA games, but he's starting and he'll get 10 minutes and he'll just sit on the bench for the rest. Caruso actually closes NBA games for a good NBA team. But we're starting Taco. Small, shout out to my boy Smalls, says Andre Drummond, Bam Adebayo, and Hassan Whiteside. So this was one I'm taking strictly off this season because Bam Adebayo, well, he's been so much better this season throughout the course of his career prior to this season. I'm starting Bam. Bam, I mentioned it in yesterday's video. He just does everything that I like in the center. And he started to get to the point where he's more comfortable with his jump shot too. And once that is done, it's a GG. He's going to end up being my favorite center in the league once he starts to put that together. But defensively, he's good. I wouldn't put him at the great tier just yet, but he's good, especially for his age and the fact that he can switch onto guards and hold his own. Perfect. Playmaking is great for a center. He runs the floor. He plays hard. I cannot ask for any other thing for my center. Then we have to decide between Andre Drummond and Hassan Whiteside, and I think I am benching Hassan White. I mean, I'm benching Andre Drummond because he is an all-time rebounder, like one of the greatest rebounders ever. When we talk about that when his career is over, we're probably going to put Dennis Rodman and Andre Drummond in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? Him and Charles Barkley, too. They're just elite rebounders. Hassan White says, man, having a decent season. Every couple games, you're like, man, that's a crazy game from Hassan. Just the other night, he had like 20, and 7 blocks. Ridiculous statistics. I give him that. Kawhi and PG's 13th season says, LaVine, Jaylen Brown, and Wiggins. I am starting Jaylen Brown. I am benching Zach LaVine, and I am cutting Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, even though Wiggins has been having a good season, he's slowly starting to regress. Like, you know, the first month or so, you're like, oh my God, Wiggins is here. This is the full potential we saw of Wiggins. And then again, like I talked about with Kat, I mean, the losing streak says it all, man. The losing streak says it all. And though Zach LaVine doesn't play for a team much better, I know I can count on Zach LaVine to at least shoot efficiently. He ain't giving you nothing on the defensive side of the ball, but I can count on him to shoot efficiently. And Jaylen Brown just does both, right? He plays his role great offensively, and he's an elite defender too. So that's why I picked him to start. Eddie, my boy Eddie. I see a lot of people's names that I've seen 1,000 times on this channel. So shout out to everybody for just sticking around for long term. Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, and Ja Morant. We're starting Ja, we're benching Kendrick Nunn, and we're cutting Tyler Hero. I don't care about your potential at this point. We're basing off what they've done in their career. All three are rookies. One of them is probably the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and that's Ja. One of them is probably going to end up top 3 in Rookie of the Year, and that's Kendrick Nunn. And then Tyler Hero, he has his flashes here and there, but compared to those other two guys, he's a third one. Dev says Trae Young, Jamal Murray, and Malcolm Brogdon. I'm starting Trae Young, which is a bit tough for me because Trae Young is all offense and no defense. And y'all know I love me players that can do both. But he is so undersized that he struggles to guard pretty much anybody in the NBA. And that's why the Atlanta Hawks they're going to have a kind of a tough time building a team around him because everybody else, all of his other wing players are going to need to be elite defenders. And maybe they have that with a young DeAndre Hunter. He's a decent defender his rookie season, so maybe 3 years from now he's going to be a great defender. And then even Cam Reddish shows flashes of defensive potential. But it's going to be hard, you know? But I'm still starting him because he's an elite playmaker. He's a great scorer even at his small size. Then it's a hard decision between Jamal Murray and Malcolm Brogdon. I think I'm going to go with the defense here and say I'm benching Malcolm Brogdon. Even though his three-point shot has not come along. Last year's 50, 40, 90. This year's like 40, 30. Like he's barely shooting 30% from 3, which is not like him. And it feels weird to cut Jamal Murray because he is so effective. Just last night, he had a game-winning shot. But I think those other two dudes may be better at this point. I think they may be better. Pacers Talk says, Drew, Justin, and Aaron Holiday gotta have a Christmas theme in there. I appreciate that, man. We're starting Drew because Drew is the one that's actually pretty good. I am benching Aaron Holiday and I'm cutting Justin. Now, here's my reason behind that. I went to a Pacers game this week and Aaron Holiday was making all the right plays. He made some big time shots. He got some big time steals, and I could see a future for him where he's going to be a pretty decent player. Whether it's a great backup or a borderline start, I don't really know. But I do like him a little bit more than Justin. Justin can sit in his corner and hit his three-point shot, occasionally make the bonehead play. But those other two dudes, I think they're just a little above. All right, y'all. Y'all really had me thinking in this one. And I got like 800 replies, so I can't get to all of them. I'd be sitting here for years trying to pick between 3 great players or 3 really bad players. But hopefully you did enjoy it. Again, I don't expect you to agree with everything I said. I didn't go into statistics because it's really not that serious. You can tell me on and off numbers. You can tell me defensive rating with a certain player on the court. That's not super important when I'm trying to make these entertaining videos. You know what I'm saying? Sure, I could do that. It's kind of lame, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you do enjoy your day. We just got a few more days of consistency, y'all. You could probably see it on my face, but I'm tired. I'm tired. But here we are, baby. All right, I'll be back tomorrow, of course. Peace.